Hello everybody, it is the Ghosty Boy, and today I have some really exciting news because the Walking Dead Destinies game finally has a new trailer and some gameplay and some interesting changes that I thought would not be in the game. There's been a whole bunch of new information that came out recently that you guys are definitely going to want to hear, and in this video we're going to be talking about the bosses, the different endings, and the character roster, and all the levels, and the combat system, and the new walker types, and the game length. So very, very important stuff, so yeah, let's get to it. So, back to it.
Was the joke that bad?
So talking about the boss fights, there's going to be 3 boss fights in the whole game, and I'm not quite sure who they're going to be, but I feel like it's not that hard to guess. Obviously, the governor is going to be in there, Shane for sure, and I'm guessing Merle, so that's like my best guess. I don't know who else it would be. Oh, is it going to be this guy? No, it's not. It's going to be Merle. No, actually, it's this guy. I don't even know what I'm putting on screen, but when I edit this, it's going to be funny. Maybe it's not that funny, and I'm just losing my sanity.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
The boss fight that I'm most excited for is definitely Shane and Rick, like them versing each other, depending on what happens there. I feel like that's going to be so exciting, and I don't know. I'm still not quite sure who I'm going to pick, but I feel like I should just pick Shane to live just because obviously I want to know what happens when he's in charge. I've already seen what Rick can do. I've already seen what Ricky Dicky Doo-Dah Grimes can do. I want to see Shane in the woods. In the woods. Let me know down in the comments what bosses you think are going to be in the game. I mean, as I said, I think it's pretty obvious that it would be the governor, Shane, and Merle. I don't know who else it would be. And also let me know if you would let Shane or Rick live, because I want to know what you guys think. Also, I forgot to mention in the recording, I feel like T-Dog might be a boss fight as well, depending on the choices you make if he turns bad instead of Merle. So yeah, that's another character that I think could possibly be a boss fight, or other characters that might turn bad depending on your decisions. Now, I don't know how crazy these boss fights are going to be, if they're going to be really going all out, or if they're just going to be kind of meh, but regardless, I'm excited, I'm hyped, I'm going crazy. So now moving on to the endings, apparently there's going to be 150 plus endings, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that's like that many, but I don't know how much it's going to really change the story all that much. I can't imagine it being too crazy, but still, that's some promise right there, I think. I know one thing for sure, I'm going to be playing this game so much nonstop. My main game has always been Dead by Daylight. That's kind of the game that I'm always playing, but when this game comes out, I am going to try to get all kinds of different endings. I'm going to get all 150 plus endings, guys. We're going to do it. We're going to have absolutely no life. I don't even know what grass looks like, dude. I don't know. I can't imagine these endings being too crazy, though. I don't think they're going to be that different. I feel like a lot of them are going to be the same, but just with different characters that you let live. Like, I can't imagine Shane turning into the woods or Carol turning into a cookie at the end of the game. It's not going to be that crazy. So now moving on to the character roster. I already talked about this in my last video, but there is one character that I didn't think would be playable in the game and is apparently playable because they're in the trailer. The characters you're going to be able to play as is Rick, Shane, Michonne, Daryl, Merle, Carol, Carl Papa, Lori Grimes, Glenn, Philip Blake, and T-Dog. Most of those characters you guys already knew were going to be in the game, but one of the characters that I didn't know that was in the trailer was Herschel. So I had no idea we would be able to play as him, and I think that's awesome. I love Herschel. Unless I'm blind and that's not who that was, but who else would that be? They have the little suspenders, everything. It looks like Herschel. It can't not be Herschel. So speaking of the character roster, some more information that I found out was apparently there's going to be skill trees for every character, which I think is very awesome, and I'm glad they're doing something like this. So depending on who is in your group and who is still alive, every character has a unique skill, and as long as that character is still alive in your group, any member of the group can use that skill, which I think is very awesome. I'm really excited to see what skill every character has and how you're going to be able to build that up and upgrade it over time. It's going to be very cool. So now moving on to the levels, apparently there are going to be 23 levels, and it's all going to be in episode order. So it would be Rick waking up at the Harrison Memorial Hospital, and the rest of these are guesses, but the highway, because that was kind of a big thing. the farm, and the prison, and then Woodbury. So some more information that the game director says: while the game is not open world, it features 23 handcrafted levels ordered episodically, from the Memorial Hospital to Woodbury, designed to allow for both stealth and guns blazing approaches. Some levels are more action-packed, some are more story-driven. We worked to make them very similar to the show, but also opted to make some adjustments to empower gameplay and make it as fun as possible to get through these iconic landmarks. Personally, I love when you get to the West Georgia Correctional Facility. Really brings back memories. And now we're going to move on to the new walker types that will be in this game, which is very cool because The Walking Dead has been doing that a lot lately with the Daryl Dixon show, with the walkers that are in that, which are pretty crazy if you haven't seen it. So reading some stuff that they say here, when it comes to zombies in Call of Duty, The Walking Dead, or any piece of pop culture, fans are familiar with the general idea of walkers, runners, bloaters, and so forth. Many of these appear in The Walking Dead in some form, but to ensure variety in gameplay, Flux Games adds some new walkers to the mix. When talking about any possible changes made to The Walking Dead Destinies, Santos said, "One good example is that we came up with some cool new walkers, each one behaving in a unique way, that we created exclusively for the game to add some nice changes of pace to the game's combat." I'm really excited to see the combat when you're fighting different types of walkers. Now, sadly, we don't know how different these walkers are going to be, but it seems like they're trying to make it as exciting as possible. So some extra things that I wanted to add in this video that I thought was really interesting about the game developer, talking about the characters and the decisions they'll be making and how much of an impact it is on the overall game. We wrote all the decisions, the story, and dialogue, keeping the characters true to themselves, while focusing the what-if scenarios on how the players' decisions impact and change their world and generate new decisions down the road. Watching the show as a fan, I always thought of The Walking Dead as an IP that is all about its characters, their relationships, and their decisions in an unforgiving world. And constantly I wondered about their decisions and the butterfly effect of those, which sparked an idea. What if we could create a game in the Walking Dead universe where you could change those decisions, perhaps save your favorite character's life? I'm pretty excited about the variety of scenarios that the player will be able to craft as they explore the story of the show. So another question that was asked to the game developer was, just how significantly will players be able to take its story off its canon route, so to speak, with their choices, where those narrative branches are concerned? How did you guys go about writing scenarios that felt impactful but still felt like they fit nicely in the story? When dealing with incredible huge IPs such as The Walking Dead, it is super important to consider all stakeholders of the project. The awesome and passionate fan base, the original material from the show, and the characters themselves and their expected behaviors. For example, you can't expect Shane to be super soft or Merle to be kind of a team player. So we wrote all the decisions, the story, and dialogue, keeping the characters true to themselves while focusing on the what-if scenarios, on how the players' decisions impact and change their world and generate new decisions down the road. And then it was just a matter of making sure these characters were reacting to these new circumstances in a way that was true to their nature. We worked really hard with AMC to be 100% true to the show's roots, while still providing something fresh and unique for players trying out decisions that go in a different route than the show did. So the game developer talks about the combat system and how it's modeled after the TV show. While the big selling point of The Walking Dead Destinies is the ability to choose who lives or dies, it's important the actual gameplay is able to match its storytelling experience, at least to some degree. That was definitely the intent. Game director at Flux Games, Paulo Luis Santos, tells Game Rant during an interview. The Walking Dead Destinies combat is modeled after the TV show, meaning players can take on one walker easily. Two shouldn't be too challenging, but more than that, especially swarms, are a complete different story. So apparently there's going to be a new feature in the Walking Dead Destinies game called the stress system, which sounds pretty interesting. To complement the gameplay, The Walking Dead Destinies features a stress system meant to add an extra layer of pressure and survivability to the game. After all, one thing that elevated the TV show was the very real possibility of anyone dying at almost any point, and the stress system helps drive that point home. Taking too much damage in the game triggers a near-death state called Broken, the result of The Walking Dead Destinies character losing their mind and changing gameplay dramatically to survive. And should players do the latter, a second win returns gameplay to normal, but with a catch. That stressful experience leaves the character with a scar, which slightly debuffs them and can be healed by performing other actions in the game. For reference, scars are pretty similar to the malfunctions in Returnal. So yeah, that's some extra stuff that I thought I would put in this video. I wasn't really planning on reading a whole bunch of stuff, but I felt like that was kind of interesting, so yeah. So now one of the final things I want to talk about before we talk about the trailer is the game length, and apparently, from what I read, the game should be about 7 to 8 hours, which I guess it's kind of short. It's not really that much, but I'm fine with that. Let me know down in the comments if you think that's way too short for a game or if you think that's fine. But yeah, that is apparently how long the game will be. One of the things that I seen in my last video, a lot of people were commenting how they couldn't wait to see how Shane dealt with Negan and all these other seasons of The Walking Dead, but sadly, we won't be getting that. This is only covering until the prison falls. So, still very exciting stuff, and I'm really excited to see what happens, but we won't be getting that unless, once again, if this game does good, then maybe we will see some DLC or whatever they decide to do, and we'll get other seasons. And personally, I would love to see how Shane deals with Negan.
What do you think would have happened, like how the show would have played out if Shane had killed Rick that night?
It would have been a great 3 seasons. I don't know, but I do often wonder about how Shane would react in certain situations, like with Negan or the governor. Or what. Would have been cool.
But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you think that 8 hours is kind of not good for a game, or if you think that's fine. I'd love to know. Now I'm going to be talking about the trailer and my thoughts about everything, and yeah, let's get to it.
And nobody dies. Everyone's alive right now.
So first thing that I thought was really interesting about this trailer is that this is the speech that Rick gave the governor when he was trying to calm him down. He's like, bro, we don't have to tear down the prison. We can all live together. And the governor's like, nah.
No.
So yeah, sadly we don't get to see much of the Harrison Memorial Hospital, but I am very excited to play through this. It looks really amazing. We have the door. I'm not going to make the joke again. I've already made this joke a million times. It's not funny, but I'm really excited, and I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun.
Everyone's made it this far.
And then in this next part of the trailer, we get to see my boy, Carl Papa. And if you've already seen this episode, you know what happens. Sadly, my boy Carl Papa gets shot. He gets shot by Otis because somehow he didn't see him in the scope at all. I don't know how he didn't see a famous star like Carl Papa, but he gets shot. Rick freaks out, picks him up, and then takes him to the farm, and that's how we find the farm with good old Herschel.
You take a drink of water, you risk your life. And nowadays you breathe, and you risk your life.
You know what? We can talk badly about the graphics as much as we want, but let's be honest. This deer looks better than this deer. Change my mind. You can't, because it's facts. The Walking Dead and CGI just don't mix very well. So I think the craziest part of this whole trailer is this part right here. We get to see what would happen if Herschel wasn't able to save Carl and he died right here.
I know. We all.
Shane,
You have to help us.
Shane.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy,
Rick?
but I don't think we have a choice.
And then we get that iconic scene where Judith is born and Rick wasn't having it.
Oh, no,
So what's really cool about this is that we see Shane and then Maggie, and she's holding Judith just like she is in the TV show. And apparently there's another scenario where Lori will survive and she doesn't die from giving birth. And it can be like that for Shane and Rick, which I think is really cool. So that's something we didn't get to see in the TV show with Rick, and I would definitely love to see how that plays out. So the next part, we get to see my boy Daryl. I love him so much. And then we have Shane, and I'm going to be 100% honest. That killer jacket does not look good on anyone that's not Rick. This looks just no Shane. Take it off. That's not you. You're not him. You've never been him.
I'm him. I've been him. I will continue to be him.
So in this next part of the trailer, we get to see that Herschel is a playable character, and I think that is absolutely awesome because I had no idea that he was a playable character. Maybe that was some information that you guys already knew, but me, myself, I did not know that. In the next part, we get to see Rick and Shane shooting at some walkers, and it looks pretty all right. I'm not sure what he's doing in this one scene right here with Rick. I don't know if that's one of his abilities where he can just make a whole bunch of walkers explode or what was going on there, but it looks really cool.
So how's about a hug for your old pal T-Dog?
So the final part of the trailer, we get one more exciting thing, and we get to see what it would be like if T-Dog was in the position of Merle. Now, I love T-Dog. I think he's a great character, and I don't know what would turn that kind man into such an evil character, but I would love to see it, and yeah, I'm really excited. Now, I don't know what you could possibly do to piss off such a nice man like T-Dog, but you must have did something bad to piss him off. So yeah, that wraps it up for the video. Once again, I am so hyped for this game, and I'm glad I could make another video about this. I'm sorry it's a little bit late. Once again, I had no idea that this trailer was even out until last minute. And yeah, I just immediately went to my computer and started making this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. One last time, for those of you that don't know, the game will be coming out November 17th, which is extremely close. And I plan on making a ton of videos. And once again, I just want to say this. I've said this a couple of videos now, but I am so thankful to every single one of you guys. You guys have been commenting, sharing my videos, liking my videos. You helped me get to YouTube Partner. I never expected that, but I am more than grateful, and I truly can't thank you guys enough. Just wanted to give a shout out to all you guys that are supporting. Thank you so much, and I will be making plenty more videos soon. I have a couple video ideas planned, some Walking Dead ones, some Dead by Daylight ones as well, if you're here for that type of content as well. And yeah, until the next video, I will see you guys very soon.